need to talk about what's going on with the ETH price. It is just absolutely blowing up. ETH is up 10 times in the past year, blowing through 3,000. Forbes is calling you, Vitalik, the youngest crypto billionaire.
I don't think that's true.
No?
I mean, I don't know. Like at least like I think Hayden got there before me. I'm sure other people as well. But like,
Not that you're the youngest. I mean, not that you're a billionaire, but it's not true that you're the youngest.
Right.
Regardless, I mean, pretty kind of impressive metrics. So how does it feel to just see this kind of rocket ship taking off?
I mean, I think both the price and just all of the other kinds of attention that Ethereum has been getting recently is just a good sign of confidence by the community and by just more and more people from outside of the Ethereum community. It's just, I think we've been seeing a lot of signs that people are kind of starting to realize that Ethereum is this very real and very interesting thing. That all of the work that we've been doing for the last 5 or 6 years around getting proof of stake out, getting sharding out, improving the Ethereum chain in all sorts of ways, fixing scaling and all of these issues, like that stuff's actually happening, and parts of it are like, well, parts of it have already launched, right? Like the beacon chain is already running, but it's, the merge and kind of fully bringing Ethereum over to proof of stake is looking very close. And there's definitely a lot of people, I think, who just sort of wrote those things off as something that's just never going to happen. And well, now it is happening. And then at the same time, we're seeing the application space and like people start taking things like NFTs more seriously, different kinds of DAOs more seriously, and DeFi more seriously. So there's just a lot of great progress that's been done quietly by the ecosystem over the last few years is finally being recognized.
So it seems like, so right now Ethereum has thousands of people building on it, millions of users, first signs of institutional adoption. What's kind of the big vision? Where does Ethereum go from here when people might feel like, okay, like it already got to the moon, like how much further can it go? Like,
no, for me, I think the next thing is definitely just getting Ethereum from where it is now to the point where like it's actually doing and being used for interesting things and actually providing real value to people. And like, there's a lot of just really fascinating and interesting stuff that's been done on Ethereum. Like, people have talked about the DeFi space a lot, for example, and NFTs as just something that's like really managed to sort of like break out into the mainstream and get a lot of people interested. But then there's all of these experiments around decentralized organizations, decentralized governance, proof of humanity type things, proof of participation, and just all of these different gadgets and just different ideas for how like people can organize and work together over the internet that are being developed on Ethereum. And it would just be great to see more of those, like, actually break out and is like turn into something that's like just really helps people work together better on a large scale. And I think like just NFTs in particular, like they're an interesting case because they're like there's a kind of speculative aspect to them, and like there is an aspect to them that's not too interesting, but then there's also this like big potential of an opportunity to allow groups of people who before just had no business model at all to kind of finally have a business model of some kind for the first time. Like, potentially this could be creators, it could be artists, it could be charities. So like, if that kind of vision can be made to work, and things like that actually can be used just as a way to just make positive sum interactions happen that just could not happen before because there were all these useful things that just had no business models attached, and like that's already a great outcome, right? And it doesn't have to be NFTs, right? Like the beauty of Ethereum is that it's a general purpose and there's just so many experiments happening, and like any one of those experiments succeeding would be amazing.
What do you see is the current biggest weakness of the Ethereum Foundation, and what are your plans to fix it?
And I think one thing that the EF has been bad at, like historically, but I think especially with Aya's help has been improving at a lot already, is just like its capacity and kind of like its ability to just work with people outside of the EF in any in any form, right? Like years ago, there were definitely a lot of cases where there were just a lot of people who wanted to be able to work with Ethereum in some way, and they just needed some kind of help and support, and we would just often not really have a good answer for them. And I feel like that's something that's been improving a lot lately, but it's something that I think the Ethereum Foundation could improve more, continue its path and improve more on in the future as well. Also, again, just the Ethereum Foundation potentially, I think needs to just sort of continually evaluate, like not just its mission, but also like what kinds of things make sense to do in the context of its mission. Like make sure to like avoid being too narrow, just because historically we've had to be narrow for, like, say, budget reasons. Like, so for example, should the EF be more actively doing things in the application layer space? Like, I don't know, but things like that are, I think, questions that would be really interesting to have or to discuss. Well, the thing that we've already started for some time is academic collaborations, and gave someone some money to Stanford Center for Blockchain Research, some to IC3, a whole bunch to various independent academic groups, and that's led to very good results already. In terms of like how we can expand, like one option would be coming up with some way to expand the academic collaboration side to beyond kind of pure technical aspects of blockchain. So looking at economics would be one, social science issues related to blockchains might be another one. On the application layer side, like if there's types of applications that we think need to happen and that we think are just not as likely to have too many resources get to them on their own, just because there isn't like a good way to turn them into a token that gets $1 billion market cap, then like that's something that the foundation could just find ways to put resources into more explicitly. Well, one of my research interests recently has been trying to figure out the decentralized governance and decentralized public goods funding space more. That's something that I think I've been recognizing probably since at least about a year ago, that is just really important. And it's really important both for crypto projects and for like definitely the wider world going far beyond crypto as well. So like we've been doing these experiments for a long time with Gitcoin grants, but also just trying to like see, how can we kind of take what's been done so far in things like Gitcoin grants, in things like the various DAO governance mechanisms that we've had so far, and just like see how what can be done to kind of improve that space further and be able to govern projects and fund public goods even better.